Food. Any nourishing substance that is eaten, drunk, or otherwise taken into the body to sustain life, provide energy, promote growth. The human relationship with food varies drastically between societies. Before departing on our excursion to Mozambique, food was a pastime. Where I grew up, food was always available in infinite shapes, forms, and flavors. In the weeks leading up to Mercer on Mission, I was consuming all of my favorite dishes at all of my favorite restaurants, from Mellow Mushroom to Greek Corner Deli to Mandarin Express, in preparation for what would most certainly be a hungry 3 weeks in Africa. The media shows the poor and malnourished in Africa all the time, and I was truly planning for 3 weeks spent very differently than they would have been in the United States. However, when we arrived in Mozambique, I was thoroughly taken aback by the readily available and delicious food options. Restaurants of all varieties lined the streets of Maputo, Mozambique, the bustling capital city. In our 4 days spent in Maputo, we feasted on savory Arabic-style chicken wraps and succulent Portuguese-inspired rump steaks coated in a creamy gravy with a fried egg. Outside of the restaurants, street vendors sold fresh oranges, bananas, papayas, coconuts, onions, ginger, peppers, and truly the most delicious freshly roasted cashews I have ever tasted. Manica City, a mining town in the Manica province, was full of even more scrumptious culinary surprises. We enjoyed fresh eggs and potatoes, and fresh honey and bread for breakfast and lunch, and then had dinners fit for kings. Each evening we devoured our chamusas and risotto, delicious Portuguese-inspired hybrid between egg rolls and meat pies, followed by a half chicken coated in a sauce made from the spicy piri-piri pepper, or grilled steak, fish, or pork. The group fell in love with the spicy piri-piri sauce, made from ground pepper, vinegar, oil, garlic, and salt. It was like nothing any of us had ever experienced in the United States. In the midst of gorging on so many delectable and exotic foods, I quickly forgot about my initial fears of hungry in Africa. How could such a starving continent be so rich in delicious food? The issue is not simply that food is scarce in Africa. Rather, the issue is that nutritious food costs money, and a lot of people, such as the small-scale gold miners we worked with, barely make enough money to get by. As a foreigner from a good family with a decent amount of money, I stayed well fed on my trip, but as I looked around, I could see hunger everywhere. We met so many people who seemed perfectly happy, but were actually living without a lot of the basic things people need to survive. One example is a young girl we met who attended school across the street from the Manica Lodge, named Sarah. Sarah outlined her daily meals for us, which included porridge for breakfast, an orange and rice for lunch, and sadza and pumpkin leaves for dinner. It seems unfair that while we ate our half chickens, boiled potatoes, carrots, green beans, and rice for dinner, Sarah was only a couple hundred yards away, eating a heated cornmeal and water mixture with a side of pumpkin leaves for her supper. While we were in Manica, the owner of the hotel asked if we would like to donate some money for the Children's Fund, as we were there on the 1st of June, International Children's Day. The money we donated would allow the kids to get a few extra nutritious foods they otherwise wouldn't have, such as a small piece of chicken or fish, as well as oil to flavor their sadza. Africa introduced to me a society whose relationship with food involves needs rather than wants. The gap between the wealthy travelers and locals was astonishing and appalling. Mercer on Mission has shown me things I never could have imagined, and has instilled in me a goal to always remember these struggling people and help them in any way that I can.